Welcome back to Tech Check, guys. My name's Gareth. Today I'm joined by Valentine. He's drove all the way here for a brand new PC build. That being said, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to build in this H9 Flow along with Z790 motherboard. We've got a lovely Corsair power supply at 750 watts. We've got a 1TB WD Black NVMe. We've got 32 gigs worth of Corsair 6000 DDR5 memory. We've got this H150 Elite Capital X cooler. We've got this Gigabyte RTX4060 GPU and none other than the 13600K from Intel as well. Excited?
Yeah.
Good. So guys, stick with me. If you enjoy the video, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's do this. What we're going to need is these core components then, yeah?
Yeah.
So you said to me that you've done this before.
Yeah, but I failed.
It's no worries. We've all done that from time to time, yeah? So first thing we're going to do is take our motherboard out. And this is the Z790 Aorus Elite AX as well. So it supports 13th gen CPU straight out the box, okay? That's a nice looking motherboard, isn't it? Look at that. So we've got plenty of heat shields around here. These are, well, thermal guards, as Aorus like to call it. You've got your chipset, which is here. You've got 4 DIMM slots, USB 3, then our 24 pin. We've got plenty of fan headers and also 3 and 4 pin RGB headers as well. A couple of USB 2 headers down here, our HD audio, which is all good. And then we have, I'm guessing that they've given us a quick connect for our front I/O as well. On the back, what features have we got? We've got 2.5 gig LAN, which is going to be ideal for you. We've got our USB-C 20 gig connection there, USB 3.2s, HDMI display port, and again, our BIOS flashback USB one here, and then our Wi-Fi 6. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 USBs. You ain't got any more than 9 USBs?
No, more than enough. I use 3.
What's that? Mouse, keyboard?
And headset.
And there you go then. So quite a nice looking motherboard, guys, here. Everything's nicely coordinated in terms of colour. Got some lovely guards and plenty of connectivity as well. Installed one of these before?
Not this one, but
okay.
Intel, Ryzen.
A Ryzen one. So
yeah.
Difference between Ryzen and Intel is the pins.
The pins are on the board already.
Correct. So we'll open this up.
Yeah.
Now the actual socket's slightly changed as well. Now we just want to be ultra careful.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to bend any of those pins. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all.
Let's have a quick look before we squeeze it down. So one of the quick easy ways is just to make sure all the notches are all lined up. Yeah.
And give it
a little bit of a love tap. Yeah. And then we can fold that one down and then squeeze that down. That's fine. And then fold that down.
Is it in? Oh.
Yeah, that's it. And fold that lever down and push it under. Keep going. There we go. Boom. Installed RAM before?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So, dead straightforward with these ones. DDR.
To look on to see which one needs to go in first. So it's A2 and B2. So basically this one and this one.
I'm just going to shut up and let you do it. What's the next rule that we have to do?
Just look at the to see where the notch is.
Yeah.
And it only goes in one way. So
perfect.
You cannot go wrong with this one. Just press it from the button until it clicks. So that's all.
Perfect. I'll just be quiet and let him do it.
That's all.
There's some nice sounding clicks as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Next up, guys, is our WD Black. Again, absolutely insane, blistering NVMe drive, this one, guys. As it says here, up to 7,300 megabytes per second. What we're going to do is we're going to actually put it up here. With this one, we're just going to undo this screw on the side. They tend to be a little bit tighter to begin with. There we go. And that should just come off. So we'll take them off. So we don't want to be putting that in. Now, when we're installing these at a 20-degree angle, so just like this, and then we've got these quick connects, which are down here. So I'll let you do that one. It's just a little bit higher. That's it. Perfect. Slight push in. There we go. And then a fold round.
I don't think that's in place.
It is.
Okay.
Good job. That's the unfortunate downside, because we've got the one with the heat shield. You're not even going to see it though, really.
Yeah.
And it's black, so it all matches.
With the...
Exactly, not a problem. Now that we've got our RAM, CPU and NVMe installed, we need to now put our motherboard
in the case,
in the case. Sound. So let's go ahead and do that.
Room.
Static!
Yeah, the wristband.
No, you don't need a wristband. That's just off of the plastic bag.
Oh.
Right. So, dual chamber. Okay, what that means is you've got two chambers, the front and the back. It hides your PSU, very much like the Leon Lee or the Height Y60. Yeah? And if you don't know whether you've seen any of the last couple of videos I've done, the Sahara Gaming P480 or the Sigmatech, what's it called, Gareth? Sigmatech Aqua Ultra. They're both cases as well that are dual chambers and very nice cases. But we've taken a little bit of a step up in terms of obviously cost and modularity here. So very nice front glass tempered panel, side glass tempered panel. Amazing in terms of ventilation at the top. And then again, full on the back side as well. Yeah. So it already comes included with our 4 fans, which are set 3 at the side as an intake and 1 at the rear as an exhaust. So what we're planning on doing, yeah, is putting our 360 rad at the top as an exhaust. And then we've got a couple of other black NZXT fans, haven't we? And we're going to put them at the bottom as intake, yeah?
Yeah.
What we'll do is we'll get this glass side panel undone. And then what we should be able to do is take this off and we'll get it as empty as we can. So A, it's lighter, and B, we can gain access. And then we'll put our motherboard inside the case. So that's our top took off, which is there. And then we'll undo our glass side panel. We should be able to just pull off our side panel now. There we go. We'll take the back panel off in the same fashion. So as soon as that's undone, push. There we go. So just a quick look at the back as well, guys. Very similar to the 011 Dynamic. It comes with this bar, really, really nice for cable management and hiding all those nasty cables. We've also got a couple of drives, which is here, quick releases, and then all of our front I/O as well. So we'll have a quick look at those. In terms of I/O, we've got our USB 3, we've got our HD audio, we've got a couple of fan connectors which are there for these particular fans. We've got our, oh, that's quite nice. All our front panel connections are all in one. So LED, power, reset buttons and stuff like that. Yeah. It's quite nice. NZXT, love that. Modularity galore with this particular case as well. So if you've got no SSDs or any hard drives, you can just remove this. You don't need it there. You can get rid of it if you don't want it. So we've got our 3 fans here set as an intake. We've got our rear exhaust fan set as an exhaust already. Yeah. So what we're going to do is, this is the time, guys, that if you haven't got an I/O shield, which is already installed onto the back of your motherboard, go ahead and install that now. In this H9 Flow, you can see we've got our 9 standoffs for ATX motherboards nicely pre-installed. We can go ahead and lower this down into position. Just be careful not to ruin the back of your motherboard with the standoffs. And then we can slot it down into place. Can you see that there?
Yeah.
We haven't got our cooler bracket in at this moment in time. So are we going to have enough room to do that once this is done now? So we just want to check before we actually go ahead and lock this down into position. Are we going to have enough room?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just do it then, because I can see through here So we're all good. Guys, now that that's in place, we're just going to take the 9 included screws, make sure that you are using the correct screws, and a magnetic screwdriver comes in handy. Full plethora of screws in the actual box, guys. So we've got our power supply screws, then we've got a couple of standoffs here, we've got fan screws which are here, then we have our motherboard screws which are there, and then we've also got our hard drive screws as well. So let's go. Would you like it going in your case like this, or would you like it going in like that?
I think like,
or like that?
I think the other one, because otherwise it will interact with the fan.
And what we'll do now is we'll put our Intel bracket on the back, we'll get our standoffs included or installed, and then we'll secure everything down in place once that's in. Let's get all 3 of these fans nicely installed. Then we'll connect our radiator to the top of our case, and then last thing, we'll connect our pump to our CPU. I love my electric screwdriver for this. Now, just saves me a few turns here and there. A quick trick here is a lot of people try and screw these screws all the way down. Don't do that.
I know.
Because you'll tighten it all the way down and then you won't be able to get the other screws in. Yeah. So one at a time on either corner. And I prefer to use an electric screwdriver. And that way you don't over tighten them, because these only go so far, and below there you've got your fins and you don't want to damage those. Yeah. So what we're going to do then, guys, is we're going to install our back plates here. This does come with a little bit of 3M tape on. And again, guys, don't worry if you can't get the holes to fit in. This bracket does have these little adjusters on, so just adjust them around till they fit the holes at the back. So all we're looking to do is just make sure that all those line up. Wiggle them round until they all line up, and then once they line up, we can stick it down. And now what we're going to do is install our posts. What we're going to do is put this side and screw it into each corner of this. Just thumb tight, you don't need to do it much tighter than that. Now that we've got our posts or our standoffs in place, and because we're using Intel, we've already got our bracket installed there already. I think the nicest thing is to get our radiator in, and then it's fully secured. What we'll do is we'll just drop this into here like this, very nice and gently. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to pull these cables through to the back of the case. Yep. These smaller screws with the washers on, yeah, and we'll just put 2 screws in here, and then we'll turn it upside down. I would also advise not to tighten these screws down too tightly. And guys, make sure that you have got your washers on, because again, these screws may pull through. But all we're going to do is, we know that this goes up and through the back. We've got no clearance issues or anything like that. And again, what we can do is attach this, but I'll do it afterwards. We're just going to roll on this round here. We're going to put this over these 4 standoffs like so. And then we're going to hold it in place, and see them 4 thumb screws. Could you put one on either corner for me? I mentioned to you in terms of this 3-pin header here. So we've got our CPU optional and then CPU fan. Yeah. So it needs to go onto our CPU fan. Okay. So we'll just make sure that this is round here. We'll tidy it up slightly afterwards, but we'll pop this one onto here like that. And then we can tidy this one up once we've got everything in place. This goes through to the back of our case into our commander core. So what we're going to do now is just going to remove this back plate here. So we've got plenty more room. So 2 easy screws at the back. Remove screws before forcing SSD bracket open. So what should happen is now that folds over. What we're going to do now is we're going to install our commander core. What we're going to do is take our cable from our commander core, or our, should we say, our pump, and push that into there off of our commander core, and you will see that it's powered via SATA power. And then we also have a USB 2 connection, which needs to go down the bottom into a USB 2 header on our motherboard. This one is our RGB number 1, which means that that needs to go into port number 1. If we were to put number 3 in number 2, fan number 2 wouldn't light up. So that's the reason why we need to make sure that they're all connected correctly. Number 3, which can go into there. So that's our RGB done. Easy.
Easy peasy, yeah.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to powering the fans, it makes no difference. They can go in any of them. So all we've got to do is get one of these cables. We'll try and keep them as nice and tidy as possible. But essentially, we can just go this one into this one, like that. This one into this one. And then this one into this one. And if we were to turn everything on now, all your fans would have power and all your fans would be working in terms of RGB. What we can do is we can take these fans here. We won't have PWM control over these though, but we can still include these in here. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to use a splitter cable. It's going to allow us to connect 3 fans and only connect 1 connection to our motherboard. So while we're here, we might as well connect this and then we can cable manage it a little bit better. So this is our USB 2 connection from our pump here. And it needs to go to one of these USB 2 connections, which is down here. So all we need is 4 screws to hold this in. And we'll screw it from the bottom down here. Make sure that we are putting as an intake. And then we're just going to screw these down into place. And we're screwing them from outside the case. Let's have a look. Ooh, I've got one here, look. Oh, what shall I do? Shall I be nice and give him one? Let's be nice. Let's give him another one and it fills it all out nicely. Let's go ahead and do these fans and then we'll get the power supply in. What we're going to do is we're going to daisy chain all these together, and now we can just connect that to a fan header on our motherboard as well, and it's a 4-pin as well. Whilst we're here, let's go ahead and push our connections through. I always like to do the more difficult ones first, and the most difficult one by far is the USB 3. Can you see this notch which is here? Yeah. There's a notch which is on your USB 3 point, which is there as well. All we need to do is line that up like that. And then once it's lined up, we push it down. Our USB-C, we can take that cover off. And again, this only goes in one particular way. Slot it in and a small press down. A nice easy one is our HD audio. Always goes in the bottom left-hand corner. And there is a notch which is here. And all we need to do is match that with this notch in this one down here. So if we turn that down, and we should be able to just press straight down. Now, we've already got our USB 2, which is connected down here. And then we've got our 3-pin or our 4-pin connection, but we've got those 3 DC fans all daisy chained together. We're going to put it on system fan number 1. So we can just put that down here. And then the most difficult one is our JFP1. So this is our front panel connectors. Now, NZXT, guys, you've knocked it out the park here, because ultimately, normally you've got 6 or 7 little cables that you have to mess around putting on one at each time, yeah? But you've got a little key down the bottom of here, and it tells you where they go. And all we need to do, again, is match that little notch there, which is these panels connections here. And all we've got to do is turn it so it's facing upwards, push it onto those connections there. That's all of our motherboard connections done, except for obviously our 24-pin and our EPS power cables. Using a modular power supply from a reputable, should we say, manufacturer, guys, is going to be worth your weight in gold. This particular part here powers everything in your system, so make sure that if you can afford a gold rated one, I would highly suggest it's worth it. If you go with a decent manufacturer, they also come with 5 or 10 year warranties as well. And I just don't think that you should be cheaping out, especially if you're spending around about £1,000 or more. Definitely go for one that's from a reputable company at a decent wattage as well. So all we're going to do is go ahead and connect these to the back of our PSU. So we'll start off with our 24-pin, which is this one and this one here. So we'll start by clicking this one and this one in place. 1 and 2, and make sure that they're fully seated. We'll then go for, which one's this one? CPU. So this one, CPU, this one ain't got anything on. Sometimes you'll see that one's got one connector and one's got 2. So if you try and put them in the wrong hole or the wrong cable the wrong way round, it won't let you. Yeah. See how that one says CPU on it? If I try and put that one in this one up here, for instance, it won't go in. Can you see?
Yeah.
Because of those 2 clips. So we need to make sure that the right end goes in there like that. And then we should have another one. That's our PCIe. So which one, can you put that in there for me?
Yeah. So this one goes here. Oh, this is, yeah, this is here. Oh.
There we are, nicely done. So that's why they don't allow you to do it, and they put different clips on the other ends, yeah?
Yeah.
Now this one's slightly different. It's quite self-explanatory, yeah? This says PCIe, this bit goes into your graphics card, and a lot of people make the mistake of putting the daisy chain in, yeah? So do you know if your graphics card has got an 8-pin and then a 6-pin, yeah? What you would do is, or an 8-pin, sorry, you would bend that round, or what a lot of people do is bend that round and plug them both in. Whilst you can technically do that, it's much better to run 2 of these cables and run them directly like this. Don't necessarily run these. These cables are normally rated for about 150 watts for the whole cable. And if you're doing that, you're pulling more wattage, therefore you've got chance of blue screening and stuff like that. So it's much nicer, even though you don't really want this bit here to be dangling down. If you zip tie it like this, you can run 2 separate cables if needed. Yeah. So we'll put this one into here. And then our last one is our SATA power cable, guys. So that one's dead straightforward. It's just a 6-pin. So we can go ahead and click that one in. And then all we're going to do, guys, is install this into the back of our case. But what's really, really important when we're installing this into our case, that we don't install it with the fan that way. Why do you think that is?
Because it will transfer heat towards the motherboard.
Yeah, very much so. And also it can't breathe. Yeah, especially in this case with having that full mesh side panel, we want to make sure that we're installing it into our case and it sits just there like that. Again, guys, make sure that you are using the correct screws. Nothing worse than installing them with the incorrect screws. So you want these larger ones just like that. And it's got a nice little holder here as well. So now that we've got our PSU in place, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to route all of our cables to the correct places. So we've got our 2 EPS cables that need to go down here. We've got our 24-pin that needs to go down here. And then we've also got our PCIe power cable for our graphics card that needs to go down here. Before I do that, I'm going to start sorting out the back of this particular case. And once we've done that and we've pushed our cables through to the front, we just need to attach our graphics card. We need to attach our 2 8-pin EPSs. Most important thing is we just need to make sure that our catchers are on the right side. And all we can do is go ahead and push them on like that. And that's number 1 on. And we'll do the same thing with this one. And it's great that we've got plenty of room in this particular case. And then we'll do the same with this one. And then we'll push the excess through to the back. 24-pin is always our easiest pin. What we need to do is just pull that cable through until we can get it in and then click it in. I'll let you do the honors. Let's open up this. So what is it, Valentino?
The Gigabyte GeForce RTX4060, the 8 gigabytes one.
8GB version, and it's the RTX4060 from Gigabyte. So why did you choose this one? Was it primarily because of cost?
It's not expensive.
Yep.
And it's more than enough for what I need.
Boom. Nice. And that's the thing, guys. Everybody wants the latest, greatest and best. Do you actually need it?
No.
Exactly. So he's gone for exactly what he requires. 1080p, CSGO, and few light games, guys, with high refresh. So 4060, going to tick all of those boxes, especially at his price and budget point as well. Have you already opened it yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he has. This is always the best bit.
Yeah.
It's quite light actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Metal, well, it feels like more of a plastic shroud, but nicer colour, yeah? You've got a 3-fan design as well, so not too bad. And guys, this is where you can save some cash. Obviously, this is one of the cheaper variants, but as he said, it's going to tick all the boxes. It's going to look and do exactly what you want it to do. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to, what I would always say is line this up down here, and it means that we need to take out slots 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So we can open up our PCIe slot. I want to let you do the honors, yeah?
Yeah.
So line it up.
Take off the cover.
Take off the cover. Right, and then what do we do?
Push.
Push until you hear a click, yeah?
Yeah.
Last thing to do, guys, is we won't use the daisy chain on the PCIe. We'll actually use this particular one here. We just need to pinch them together, push them round, and then we can go ahead and actually connect it like that. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to actually bend this slightly round, and I'm going to zip tie this together and make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to look at, because you've got a glass tank here and case, and you want it to look as nice as possible. So we'll zip tie these together, perhaps around there like that, and therefore you won't have it as bad as that, yeah?
Yeah.
The only thing that we do have to do, and I will show you that, is we've missed one step, and that is connecting the actual SATA power for our pump. So we can go ahead and connect that, tidy this up afterwards, and next time you see us, we'll try and boot it, yeah?
Yeah.
He's happy, and we've not even turned it on yet, yeah? And all we've done is we've just hooked some power up, made sure the monitor's on. I've got an HDMI cable, mouse and keyboard. So I'm going to let you flick the power switch and then turn it on, sir. That's a good noise.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, looks so nice. Even if it doesn't have a lot of RGB, it looks perfect.
But as you said, you can always go out and buy 6 RGB fans, yeah, and you can install them at a later date, can't you? Yeah. And guys, honestly, this was one of the easiest builds I've ever done. And don't worry, it will stop and start as well, because it's just doing some memory timing.
Yeah.
Hands down, hats off to NZXT, not built in the H9 or the H9 Flow before, or the Elite. And this was a very, very, very good experience. Cable management was absolutely piece of, yeah. The case itself, loads and loads of room, whether you're water cooling, no matter what configuration you've actually got. In this one, we've got an RTX4060, a 13600K, an HX750, a Z790 motherboard, 32 gigs worth of DDR5, a 1TB NVMe, and an H150i Elite XT from Corsair. And honest to God, guys, really, really loved building in this case. We did it together, and you said that it was quite a good, enjoyable experience, yeah?
You learn a lot from just being here rather than watching on YouTube.
Yeah, and look, I want to say a massive thank you to you for letting me build this computer for you.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you very much. And now that it's all turned on and you can finally see it powered up, what are you first going to be doing?
Gaming.
He's off the game, guys. So there we go, look. CPU temperature, 29 degrees, guys. We do need to load on Windows. We do need to put XMP on. Again, thoroughly love this case. Let me know down below, guys. Height Y60, H9, or do I wait for the new Leon Lee coming out in November? What's your thoughts? Anyone got any of those 3 cases? Let me know down below. If you think that Valentin did a very good job doing his first PC build, comment down below as well. Massive thank you to him for letting me build. I'm going to get Windows installed, XMP done, all his drivers, so that when he gets home, he can just turn it on and start gaming. Legend, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope you've enjoyed, guys. If you have, smash that like button. Make
Try.
sure to leave a like down below, guys. Make sure to get subscribed. I'll see you in the next one.